We need it, especially myself. I need mental health today. I just want to speak from the heart. Today was very charged emotionally day for me. As you know, most of you don't know, my name is Ina Taylor, and I'm a proud American, but also proud Ukrainian. I'm from Ukraine, and today was a challenging day to observe what's going on. And on behalf of Ukrainians, I want to say my mission is to bring American people bipartisan around Ukraine. So that's my mission. That I want to leave it at this, and I hope that you will continue praying and supporting Ukraine. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. With that, I will use this opportunity to tell you that we will participate at St. Patrick Parade. It will take place. Yes. Yes to all the Irish in the house. Uh, so it will be our fourth time marching with the Ukrainian flags. And if you're interested to march with us and support and show solidarity with Ukrainian people, regardless of your political affiliation, please come. We gather at 9 a.m. Talk to me if you'd like to join and support us, Ukrainian people on Cape Cod and just in general, Ukrainian nation. So, Changing the World nonprofit. A lot of people don't know, but I would like to let you know that we are changing the world. And my husband and I, 3 years ago, we started this nonprofit, and our mission is changing the world one heart at a time. And we opened this coffee shop for the goal of connection, bringing people together as a force for good. And we have been having events like human trafficking awareness, mental health awareness, International Women's Day to support our immigrant women. And speaking of International Women's Day, March 31st at 6 p.m., we will have International Women's Day with the main speaker, Katrina Walsh. Katrina Walsh, can you stand up, please? She is image consultant, speaker, author, and she has an incredible book of resilience, her book called Confident Beauty, how she found value regardless of circumstances in life. So please join and register in advance. Also, I would like to mention that besides monthly events like this, we have weekly events. We are a very busy nonprofit. In April, would you mind to come and share about what is happening on every Thursday? We have a community support group called Pathways to Healing, and she will share about this.
Hi guys, welcome everyone. I'm so happy to see everyone coming out for such a great awareness event. So real quick, Pathways to Healing. It's every Thursday night. We open the doors here. There's a community meal provided, and there's a pathway topic of healing. And this group is facilitated, so there's one person, different person facilitating it each week. They'll talk about a topic that revolves around mental health and addiction issues, any types of issues in the community, and they'll usually do a little activity to go with it, whether it be writing or painting or things like that. And then it opens up into a group discussion. This has been a wonderful group for community healing, and it's been very effective and helpful. And I've seen a lot of positive, great change. So I'm very thankful for Ina and Andrew for opening up this space for that. And I'm looking forward to more community healing events in the future. So thank you so much.
Yes. Anyone who struggles with mental health, addiction, or trauma, let them know about this group every Thursday at 6 p.m. They will be fed, they will be welcomed, they will be heard and connected to a particular program that they need. If it's perhaps a sober program or more specific, we direct them to incredible programs in our community. On Saturdays, we have open mic. This Saturday will be open mic. We have so many events. Just follow us on changingtheworldtv.org. On calendar, you will find what's going on. And our future goal is to have a community center. So this is the beginning. So it's kind of like a community hub in a way. Coffee shop is craft connection, but we would like to see a bigger facility because sometimes our events are so huge and well attended that we need more space. So keep us in mind, keep us in your prayers and support us. You can be our monthly partner. It's very easy to donate, and you can become our friend and partner and keep this mission going. So we are really appreciating your help in being here. And with that, I would like to introduce our incredible speaker, Judy Barrigas. Judy, please stand up. She is the one who brought our main speaker today. And I need to pull out her biography because she is incredible. Our main speaker, I apologize just a second. Well, before we have our speaker, we have Steve Xeris, our representative, is here. Let's give him a hand. He is a champion for mental health, and I just found out that you are part of committee for mental health in Massachusetts, and it's been quite a fight this month. Would you please speak on that a little bit? Yeah.
So I've been assigned to be on the Massachusetts Mental Health, Substance Use, and Recovery Committee, which I'm very proud, the ranking minority member. That's our big issue for the next 2 years in my mind. There's so many. But recently, the governor had decided to close Pappas Mental Health Child Center off Cape and Pocasset. And that's not good, in my opinion. And everybody came together to say, no, that's not a good idea. We need more space, not less. We need more clinicians, not less. So sometimes it's a money issue, but I think Massachusetts is still the greatest state in America. We just have to make wise decisions. So for now, they're staying open, but we can't keep up that. We have to fight to make sure, and I think it should be better. Recently, my own sister, who struggles, which a lot of us do in our families, she spent 5 days in the ER of Cape Cod Hospital waiting to find a spot. So I've seen it firsthand. When people need help, to go to the ER is wonderful, but to sit there for 5 days before you can find someplace else. Today she's in Haverhill, and we need to do better than that. So being here tonight means a lot to me. I will listen and learn and then help lead. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Steve. Thank you for your service and for being here. So our main speaker, Dr. Maura Weir. Did I say it right? She's proud heritage Irish, which I found out. She earned her doctor degree from William James College in Massachusetts. She's a master trainer for the QPR Institute in Suicide Prevention and Managing Suicide Risk, and a seasoned trainer in evidence-based programs such as Applied Suicide Intervention Skills Training, Connect Post-Pension, Mental Health First Aid, and Breaking Free from Depression. Maura has presented at the American Association of Suicidology Conference, did I say it right? And the European Symphonium for Suicide and Suicidal Behavior. She serves on the executive committee of the Massachusetts Coalition for Suicide Prevention, and her local coalition has trained over 10,000 people in suicide. Wow. In suicide prevention, intervention, and postvention. Dr. Weir also served as a director of student wellness of Cape Cod Community College. Let's welcome together a wonderful speaker of the night, Dr. Maura.
Thank you so much. Do you want me to use this?
Yes, please, yes, because it's video recording.
Great. Good evening. Welcome. How many people are feeling okay today? I didn't see all the hands go up, so that's not a good thing. Today has been a wild day indeed. My name is Dr. Maura Weir, and I'm currently the Chief Wellness Officer at Cape Cod Community College. And before that, I did work at Community Health Center of Cape Cod, so I just met someone from there. There you are. Oh, well, you were there. But I've been around for a long time doing suicide prevention, mental health work on the Cape and Islands. And when I was asked to come here tonight, I said absolutely yes, because we want to spread the word about living with mental health, about suicide prevention, even overdose prevention as well. And we have to do this as a community, right? And so we're going to talk a little bit about that as well. So I got the title, Is Self-Care Selfish? That's the title I got. So how many people here have a hard time doing self-care? Aha, you're going to find out. How many people do self-care regularly? How many people need a little bit of work with it? Yeah. So let's talk about that after we talk about mental health. So the good news is my presentation is not too long, and Judy is going to keep me on track for 30 minutes. Yes, starting now. Okay? And so I just want to make sure I get everything in, but talk to you about it. So my parents are Irish immigrants. I'm very proud of that right off the boat. My mom spent 12 days coming over in this big ship, and she tells the story every time she wants someone to listen. And she says she was sick for 11 and a half days down underneath with $5 in her pocket while Uncle Huey was upstairs doing an Irish jig. So that's how her trip to America started. But with that, I will tell you, as two Irish parents who came here for a better life, which I'm very grateful for, we did not bring everything with us. And some of the things that we do not talk about in our culture is mental health. And especially within my own family, I'll speak to that, suicide is not a word that we use. And mother, God love her, she's 85, she's still alive, she's still with us, will not even say the word suicide. Anything else to describe what I do for a living but that. So I get the phone call from Dorchester every day. How's it going down the Cape? Great, Mom, great. Did anything happen today? I don't know what you mean by that, Mom. Well, did anyone, And I'm like, did anyone what, Mom? What? Just say it. And she's like, that thing you try to stop. Did they do it? And I'm like, Ma, it's called suicide. And she's like, oh, God, help us. That's such a terrible word. Don't use that word, Maura. And I'm like, Mom, I'm a suicidologist. And she goes, but we have to pray for those people. We do. And then she says to me, is it contagious? Are you going to be okay doing this work all the time? I was like, Mom, I'm going to be okay. So the Irish, especially my own family, that's all I'll speak to, we're not very good at discussing mental health, nor are we very good at talking about substance misuse. Okay? My uncles are always under the weather on Mondays. But they're not hungover, okay? They're just under the weather. So this is where I came from. So we don't talk, we don't trust, and we don't feel anything. And then on top of that, we have a little bit of Irish guilt. Does anyone know anything about that? It might not even be Irish. I hear there's other nationalities that have guilt as well. Yeah. So when we talk about self-care, somehow I feel guilty about that. And I can hear my mother in my thoughts saying, what did you get done today, young woman? And I go, not much. Well, what's wrong with you? And then when I say, Mom, I'm kind of sad today, or I'm a bit depressed, that's just nonsense. And then she sends me off to school or work or wherever I have to go, right? So it's kind of funny that I'm up here as the chief wellness officer of 3,500 students to tell you about self-care, which I don't always practice myself. So that's who I am. That's where I came from. My undergraduate is from Ireland, so I had a lot of exposure to European stuff. And then my master's is from Australia. And so I studied under the best out there, and I got my master's in youth mental health, which was not a subject here at the time. And then when I came back to the States, the good old Americans said, that's really nice, but we don't like your degrees. You need to go back to school here to do that. And I'm like, I just spent 20 years doing that. They're like, yeah, we don't care. So they offered me a master's or a doctorate, and they said 3 years for the master's, 4 years for the doctorate. And I went, I'll do the doctorate. They lied. 7 years later, I finally finished that doctorate, and here I am with gray hair to tell you about it. And I did not practice a lot of self-care at the time, I have to tell you. So that's what we're going to do today. So it's like a kind of a holistic approach to mental health, self-care, the whole lot, from Europe to Australia, right down to good old Cape Cod. And I hope that you will be interested and be able to talk with me about it. But we're going to learn a little bit about self-care. We're going to learn stress and burnout, because some people get those confused. I'm feeling it right now. Yes, you got stress? You got your hand up?
I have an observation as a pilot.
Okay, sir. What's your observation?
It will help us to look at self-care from the perspective we can't help other people if we're not helping.
Well,
If you're in an airplane, what do they tell you about the oxygen? Put yours on first so you can help somebody else.
so the talk is now over. Have a nice night, and we'll see you next month. Because as a frequent traveler of airplanes, when I go to Ireland, the lady always says, put your own oxygen mask on first before you help the person beside you. And I'm like, yeah, but you know, the other person beside me is my son, and they want you to put it on first, because here's what we know. You can't give from an empty well. The end. And because we're in a coffee shop, I will say you can't give from an empty cup. You've got to fill up the cup, and then you can do your work with other people. So that's the lesson number 1 that our pilot has just told us, okay? I want to show you about the symptoms of stress, then we'll just a little bit of self-awareness, and then maybe you'll think about your own plan, okay? So this is the wellness wheel. I don't want to get it all into it because I am kind of academic, researchy too. I'm pretty much the only one on Cape Cod and the islands that gets excited about suicide statistics, okay? This is what I do at night when I have time. So SAMHSA, the Substance Abuse Mental Health Services Administration, has presented with us this wellness wheel. And believe it or not, there's 8 dimensions to wellness. I wonder, can we name them? One of them? Spiritual. I heard spiritual. What? Physical. Social. Good. Emotional. Are you guys cheating? No, you can't see that? Okay. What's that? Well, kind of social and environmental. So there's things on the wellness wheel, people, we don't even know about. This is kind of exciting. So when people tell me their mental health is okay, I'm like, okay, so how's your environmental health? And they're like, what? How's your social health? What? You know, I'm just excited to be out away from my 7-year-old and meet 35 adults. This is my social wellness for the week. All right? So we've got emotional. Most people make it with mental health. Then we have financial wellness. How many people have okay financial health right now? Yeah, mine's not so great. I got student loans. Killing me on the student loans. Social wellness. How many people make time to go out with family and friends? Regularly. Good. And then we have spiritual wellness. Who looks after their spiritual wellness? Wow, what do you do, sir, for spiritual wellness? You went to church yesterday. Okay, what if you're not a churchgoer? What can you do? Yes. Meditation, prayer, lovely. This is going to be easier than I thought. All right, how many people do occupational wellness? The panelists up here, are you practicing occupational wellness? What does that even mean? Happy at work. It means personal satisfaction and enrichment derived from one's work. How many people can now say they have good occupational wellness? Oh, good. I'm so excited. Because I have the greatest job in the Cape and Islands. I love working at Cape Cod Community College. And I mean that sincerely, okay? I love it. Physical. How many people do great physical wellness? Mr. Pilot, yeah. Now you're a little shy, huh? And intellectual wellness. How many people feed their mind? Yeah, what do you do? What do you do to feed your mind? Oh, gosh. She teach nursing. And do you love your job at Cape Cod Community College?
Yes, I do.
Yes, she does. Yes, you do. We have a great president who takes care of us all. So, and then the last one is environmental wellness. Who does that? What is that? You have no idea, but you do it? I feel like I'm on Jimmy Kimmel with the outside on the street. What do you do for environmental wellness?
I just garden and
Oh, gardening. Like it. You think getting dirty is environmentally well? Oh, we have some people. Okay. Yes. Environmental wellness. It's pleasant, stimulating environments. How many people hang out in pleasant, stimulating environments? No, gardening is one of them. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. It supports your well-being. How many people do a good job at supporting their well-being? I will give $100 to the person that tells me their wellness wheel is completely balanced. All 8 categories. All 8 categories. If you have all 8 categories at 100%, I will give you the $100. How about you?
Like a
Solid
solid 70.
70. 70. So look at, we work, we do stuff all day. How the hell are we going to do all this? We got to make time for it. We got to make time for it. That's why self-care is not selfish. So here's what I'm going to tell you. There's 35 people in the room. 1 in 5 have a mental health issue right now. I'm not asking you to raise your hand, but I'm saying 1 in 5. So who's the math genius? This guy right here. How many?
Oh, there's a reason why I went to law school. I'm not.
Not law school. 1 in 5. 35 people in the room. Thank you. 7. 7 of us here tonight have a mental health concern. And when we talk about mental health concerns, we talk about the things get in our way of our daily activities, satisfying relationships, and work or school or whatever it is you're doing, even for retirement stuff, right? So 1 in, what? 7 of us. And yet we're all out here tonight. I thought that if you had mental health problems, you had to be in Cohasset. Absolutely not. There is a thing called recovery. And people live with mental health challenges every single day. And you know what? They get the help they need, they get support, and they get up and they go to work and they go to school and they volunteer and they go to the library and they live productive lives. And we have to work on breaking that stigma that if you have a mental health problem, you're a strange part of society. There's something wrong with you. Guess what? Mental health is biological, psychological, and social. Okay? I don't want to get into it too much, but genetically, I got the genes for being a big drinker and for having bad mental health. The end. But I'm okay because I have protective factors in my life that help me not do those bad things. Okay? My parents weren't that able to get those things, right? But the next generation, us, we should be working at this stuff. Okay? So just think about that. So wellness is a journey. It's not a destination. You can't say next week, next year, I'm going to buy a gym. I'm going to go to the gym. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. How many people have gym membership? Good. About half. How many people use it regularly? Less than the half of the half. Okay. How many people spend that kind of money that they spend in the gym on their mental health? Oh, you do? Who are you? You've raised your hand for everything. Are you all right? Okay. She's doing well, this woman here. We'll have to get her secrets. Thank you. I think about the amount of money people spend on their physical health, and I wonder why they don't spend it on their mental health. So when we hear about a recovery gym, like, that's good. That's really good. It's okay to spend some money on something for yourself. It's not selfish. Now, I am a practicing Catholic, I will admit. Irish, here we go. God didn't say it's a sin to have money. God said if you have money, share it with other people, but take care of yourself. He said that. I heard him. He told me. No, I'm joking. Because then I'll be going to Pocasset. No. I'm talking about the journey. And there was a person named Swarbrick who said wellness is a conscious, deliberate process where we make choices for ourselves. And it's a lifestyle that's more healthy and more satisfying. And by the end of tonight, I want you all to commit to that. Okay? So we're talking about positive goals, learning, self-management skills, developing healthy habits, okay? And then we're looking on positive features of ourself. I could wake up every day and go, I'm not a really good person. I'm terrible at math. I'm not very good at this. And instead, I wake up and say, you know what? I'm a good person. And today's going to be a good day. Yes, affirmative stuff is really good for us. So when my mental health is bad, I've got to do my little mantra for myself and say, it's going to be okay. This too shall pass. It's going to be all right, okay? Wellness has so many things going on. I want to challenge you to look at them after you leave here tonight. Emotionally, how y'all doing emotionally? Good. I'm glad to hear that. Good, good, good. We have people here that can help if you're not, okay? But it's good. We're talking about how do you cope with life. Good coping skills is really important. Good problem-solving skills are really important, okay? Environmental, we're talking about that stimulating environment, okay? You know, I got a lot to say, but I can't say too much because there's people here that know me, but my family's crazy. Right? And I'm just really glad I live an hour away from them all. But my environment growing up, it was a little hectic and a little chaotic. You know what I mean? And there was all secrets and stuff. And I had to do a lot of work to get away from that kind of thing going on. And I don't mean bad. There was no abuse. I'm making a joke, but yeah, we lived in a traditional Irish family. We ate meat and potatoes every night of the week. We had potato chips, French fries, mashed potato, baked potato, twice baked potatoes. And I think that was it. We did not have pasta. We did not have rice. We didn't have anything like that. Nor did we have conversation at the dinner table because it was a necessity to eat, okay? I think we got that from Buddhism. But we did not talk about how we feel. So all of a sudden, I get into this type of work where people have to talk about how they feel. I'm like, that's dumb. And now I'm like, tell me how you feel. Right? So we have to do emotional stuff. We have to do environmental stuff. And we have to look after our finances. How many people are really good at financial stuff? How many people already did their taxes? Yeah, you people. Yeah. You got to create a goal when you're doing your finances. This woman got to go. She's up showing us all. Then we got to talk about intellectual stuff. How do you expand your skills, your brain, your knowledge? You know what I mean? I'm surrounded by people at the college who are fairly intelligent. And I love having the conversations about things I don't know anything about, right? Today I spent the day down at aviation with a bunch of people on planes and stuff. Not my thing, but I keep learning about new stuff, right? Then this occupational stuff. I don't want to be bored at work. I want to do stuff. I want to challenge myself. I want to make a difference. You know what I mean? Like when I walk away from Cape Cod Community College, they'll know I was there. I'll have left a legacy of some sort. I don't know if they'll like it, but I'll have left it, right? And then we got the spiritual stuff. It doesn't have to be going to church. Spiritual could be non-religious. People are in touch with nature. They like to hear the ocean. They like to listen to the birds. They like to go outside. All that kind of stuff is really great for your spiritual. And then people say, what am I doing here on earth? What's my purpose? Those are all good things to be thinking about. And so this brings me to Maslow. I don't know if you all who know who, of course you know who he is. But Maslow, I love this guy. Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Here's the bottom line, folks, on mental health, self-care, and all the rest. If you're worried about where your next meal or your money or your shelter is going to come from, you're not going to be your best self. So as a community, we need to be looking at things like our social determinants of health on the Cape Cod Islands, and we need to be looking at what is not met in my basic needs, because you really can't move forward, right? And I'll just take the example of a student at school. If they didn't have breakfast and slept outside rough, and they have an exam, what do you think is going to happen on the exam? They're going to fail, or they're not going to do well, right? And that applies to all of us. If we're not getting the right sleep, the right nutrition, the right amount of physical activity, we're not going to work on our mental health, right? So Maslow says we have to start with physiological stuff. Food, water, shelter, okay? Sleep, very important. How many people get here 8 hours of sleep or more? Liars. How many people get 7 hours? 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Yeah. So between 4 and 8 hours of sleep a night, I got to tell you, folks, your brain's not even resting yet. You've got to give your body and your brain time to reset. It's very important, okay? That reset is really important for you. So physiologically, do you have what your body needs? Are you eating the right food? I think we have a nutritionist, right? Like, are you supplying your food with what you need to get by? Then and only then, when you get there, we have to talk about the safety. Do you feel safe in your home? Do you feel secure in your neighborhood? Do you have a sense of security with your finances? In your family, with your property, whatever that's going to be, do you feel safe and secure? Because if you don't, your mental health is going to suffer. Then we have, okay, I'm feeling good. I slept last night and I feel good. I'm safe. I am secure. I have a great partner. My house is okay. Now I'm ready to make relationships and have friends. Now I can love other people. Now I can move out and be social. Okay? And then that goes on to self-esteem. You work on your self-esteem. You work on your mental health. You work on your confidence. You work on who you want to be. And my question to you all tonight is, are you living your best life? And if you're not, what are you going to do about it? Because we only get one go at this, well, in my religion, right? So we got to figure it out. And then, and only then, you get to self-actualization. I keep an eye on the time because I'm yapping. Okay, so self-actualization, it's when you get to that point where you're like, yes, I reached my goals, I did good, life is good, right? I had that feeling for like 17 minutes after my doctorate. That was it. I had reached self-actualization. I got the doctorate, and I was like, yes. And then my mother started yelling at me. Just because you're a doctor doesn't mean I'm going to call you that. So I was like, all right, so it's over. The whole 17 minutes I got cost me thousands of dollars. But anyway, at that moment, I reached my full potential. And then the next day when I got up, I had to set new goals, new things to do, new challenges to make. So when I look at self-care, I actually put the definition for y'all in case you don't know, but it's the practice of taking action to preserve, your own health. And when you do that, it's about well-being and happiness, especially during stress. Okay? Oh, you want that back? Okay. So that's what I asked you. How many people practice self-care on a regular basis? Okay? And I talk a little bit about stress here because people are stressed. There's no doubt about it. How many people had some stress today? Okay. How many people handle their stress okay? It depends on the day of the week, right? But we have acute stress. Acute stress is it occurs, it happens, situation takes care of itself, it's okay, you move on. Episodic stress is more like you get overwhelmed and it stays for a period of time, okay? More in type A personalities, which I think there might be a few in the room. And then the chronic stress is the one we worry about. If you live with chronic stress, your body physiologically cannot handle it. And if you're living with high amounts of stress, your mental health will go down. So will your physical health, and so will other parts of your health. Okay, your finances, everything could go. So we have to look at the stress. What's causing us stress in our life? And trying to get rid of it. Okay? The next conversation I hear a lot about is the burnout. Who lives in a prolonged state of emotional, physical, and mental exhaustion that is caused by stress? Oh, thank you for being honest down there at the back. I'll ask that again. Is anyone feeling burnout at the moment? Thank you. Thank you. As much as I love my job, I'm feeling the burn. Okay? It's your motivation goes down a little bit. You feel maybe a little hopeless, a little helpless. Things aren't going to get better. And then there's maybe a little bit of resentment. Like, why did I say yes to this job? You know what I mean? But then you love the job, right? So here we go. Hopelessness and helplessness. Hopelessness to me, if you don't hear anything else tonight, hopelessness is very highly correlated with suicide. Okay? If someone says to you, I feel hopeless, I want your ears to go up and I want you to listen. Okay? Because Cape Cod has one of the highest suicide rates in the state. Okay? It is true. Yes. We have about 30 suicides a year. And one of the things that's correlated with it is feelings of hopelessness. Okay? I hoped I got here on time today. I hope my job went well. I hope I didn't trip coming in. I hope I get home for my husband's birthday. I hope that my kid's okay. And I hope that I'm full of hope. I'm so hopeful. That's what keeps me going. But imagine for a second having zero hope. Whatever you hope for, take it out of your mind. And then I wonder why suicide happens. And then on top of that, they feel helpless or they feel that they can't be helped. Okay? So keep that in mind. I'll talk about that in a second. Your stress would be anger, irritability, anxiety. Your physical symptoms come out. If you have a thick head like me, like an Irish woman, I don't feel it up here. I feel it in my body. My back, my legs. You know what I mean? It's hard. I don't sleep. Got the stomach bug. Difficulty breathing sometimes. People have that when they're fully stressed, okay? So there's a difference between stress and burnout, all right? But usually it's overengagement or disengagement. And that's what you have to think about. Emotions are overreactive with stress and they're just flat when you get to burnout. And so we can talk a little bit more about that at another time, but just to tell you they're closely related but not the same thing. So why self-care? I don't know why we do self-care. What is it? You got to take care of yourself. Little small acts. And I don't mean go get your nails done. I'm not a nail gal. Look at my hair. I don't get my hair done either, okay? That would be very vain for an Irish woman, okay? So, but you know what I do? I take longer showers. And you know what else I do? I go to the bathroom when I have to. Seriously, how many people go, I'll go after this call. I'll do it after that. I'll do it after that. 3 hours later, you haven't gone to the bathroom yet. Don't lie. This happens. Okay? And the older I get, the more I'm not going to be able to hold it anymore. right? So I'm not saying you have to spend money on your mental health. You just got to take care of it, right? So small stuff like that. There's daily rituals, things that will make you feel happier. You know, it's contagious. When people smile, it's contagious, right? Talk about making better decisions. Be in touch with what's really important to you. Okay? Look at these 6 things: physically, emotional, psychological, spiritual, personal, and interpersonal, and professional. All right? I put up a little quote there. It's not selfish to love yourself, take care of yourself, and to make happiness a priority. It's necessary. Okay? Some types of examples, I heard people, but you want to identify with your feelings, how you're feeling today, what's happening, what's in your conscience. Physically, how are you doing? Are you maintaining your health, your body weight, whatever it is you want? They told me I'm obese. I don't care. I'm not like my BMI. I'm over my BMI. I'm not too worried about that. But some people are into that kind of stuff. Spiritual, anything that feeds your soul. Travel, nature, going to church, whatever you want. Just make it happen. When you do these things, it's called prevention and coping skills. And if you engage in these activities that rejuvenate you, your mental health will be top dog. Okay? And you got to do it like once a week, twice a week. It can't be like, I'll throw that in at the end of the week. And build yourself a community. Build yourself a community of people that think like you or want to do the things that you do. Okay? Stop being around those negative Nellies that tell you everything's bad. They're bad. Don't go near them. Okay? And you want to balance yourself so that you can function. What events do you want to go to? What are you having fun with? How many people can say no? Yeah, here we go. All right, I'll be having sessions down the back if you want after this. You have to be aware of what makes you happy, what brings you down, what brings you up, who you need to be around you, and make those changes. That's all we're saying. Establish healthy routines. Make sleep a priority. Try something new. Schedule breaks. Practice gratitude. We love gratitude. Invest in resources and do some wellness check-ins. All right, we love wellness check-ins. So my challenge for you is to create some sort of personal or professional self-care plan that you can stick to. You know what I mean? And actually do it. And identify an activity that you would like to do. What will you be engaged with? And then go and do it. Stop waiting for tomorrow. It may never happen. So the take action for tonight is, at home, I will practice self-care by, not whatever. That's a bad answer. What is it you're going to do? Tell me, at home. Sleep more. Sleep more. That's perfect. All right. At work, go to bed earlier. No social media till 1 o'clock in the morning. I love it. I will practice the self-care at work. How many people go to the work every day and practice self-care? What do you do? Good. Making jokes is good. What do you do? You take a nap at... You don't work at Cape Cod Community College, do you? Because that's not allowed. Just take your lunch break away from your desk. That includes you too, sir. Do not eat at your desk. Get up, get walking, move, go get it, whatever it is. Nice day today, sit out on the picnic bench and eat it, and then come back. You'll work wonders in the afternoon, okay? So there are my references just in case. And I just want to say thank you to you all for being a very participative audience. Okay? Are we good?
Wonderful. Let's give another round of applause for our wonderful speaker. It was really good. Jeff, can you help me to set up the chairs? And now I would like you to welcome our incredible panelists. And Jeff is helping me to set up 4 chairs. And we will start with one wonderful panelist. He has to go soon because he has to do some self-care, which is dancing. So that's all right. So Miss Judy, can we give a hand to Judy because she was an instrumental to bring a wonderful speaker tonight. Thank you, Judy Barrigas.
Thanks, everyone. So this topic is super important, and Dr. Sidhartha is going to talk about nutrition and how that can impact your wellness. So a little bit about Dr. Sid. Maura, by the way, are you leaving? Are you leaving? Are you staying? She, that BMI thing. So Cape Cod Community College, I'm a trustee there, is the first in the nation to have a chief wellness officer. So we're very progressive and understand the need on the Cape. So Dr. Kumara Sidhartha used to be my doctor until he fired me. He's doing other things now. He's a board-certified physician. He's a public health nutrition advocate, an author, and a leader in equitable healthcare in the community. He completed his medical training in Salem, India, and his residency training in medicine at Lincoln Medical and Mental Health Center. He's a board certified by the American Board of Internal Medicine. Dr. Sid is also a graduate of the Master of Public Health in Nutrition at the University of Massachusetts in Amherst. And he's certified as a plant-based nutritionist by Cornell University. He was appointed by Governor Maura Weir to serve in the Massachusetts School Nutrition Standards Commission in 2024. He serves as a co-chair of Massachusetts State Food as Medicine Task Force, you guys should talk, convened by the Center of Health Law and Policy Innovation at the Harvard Law School. He's actually getting schools to teach doctors about nutrition because most of our diseases are because of what we eat. Put that down more. He's the author of the recently published book, All My Secrets. We've got a few copies in the back there. It's a message. It's like talking with your body. The book is amazing. It's your body telling you what you need to stop doing because everything in our body we have to heal ourselves. We just need to tap into it. It's a great book. It changed my life. I've been plant-based for 7 months now, and my arthritis in my hands is absolutely much better. He's a contributing author in the textbook Promoting Biodiversity in Food Systems, and in 2016, he was honored by the American Cancer Society of New England for his efforts to prevent cancer through community nutrition education. And he comes here all the time, so if you want some free advice. In his spare time, he continues to practice internal medicine on Cape Cod, and he's just amazing. Thank you, Dr. Sid.
Thank you, Jody, for that generous introduction. And I want to thank Ina and Andrew and everybody who's supporting you to keep this space, hold this space for community. And this is prescription for health right here, right? And I do want to say that at least a third of the book I wrote here, like when I was over the 2023 mostly, I think. Yeah. It's a great space. It's amazing. So how many minutes do I have? But so no, I will be finishing even before that, so that there's questions, and then other speakers has to All right, thanks. So I'll just hit on some high points here. I think the topic I'm going to speak on is food and mood, right? And it connects to and I'm going to tap into a lot of the points Dr. Weir mentioned there. Starting with the very fundamental things like Maslow's hierarchy, right? The basics of just having, number one, having adequate food. If there is food insecurity and you can't even access any calories or enough calories, that's an issue. That's one part, an issue that could happen for communities. The other part is, yes, we have access to calories, but the calories are not nutritious, right? That's the other part of that. So, but in Maslow's hierarchy, making sure we have the right nutrition, we have access to that, and that kind of the very basic stuff, right? That's important. I know that Dr. Weir also mentioned about building habits, building regular habits, starting small, and building up, and see where you're comfortable. I think that's another piece to be paying attention to. In my book, one of the main themes in the book is about listening to your body. The body is always telling you that what it needs, what it wants. We just need to be present and pay attention to the messages, right? So that's another thing, to kind of being mindful and being present, even when we are eating. Just a simple example. I'm eating, I'm watching a game, for example, or I'm on the phone, I'm working on the desk, computer. I'm not even noticing how much food that is going, and I may be paying attention only when I'm uncomfortably full, right? And that's too far. You've gone too far by then, and your body has to work really hard to digest all of that. So, but if I've been paying attention, just focusing on what I'm eating, just forgetting about all the work, or not at the desk, and I may be able to know that, oh, I was hungry, I'm no longer hungry now. Maybe I can stop here, so I don't have to be like stop when I'm uncomfortably full. Those are things about just paying attention and paying attention to the cues. And in general, I also want to touch on something called epigenetics. I'm touching on certain areas that Dr. Weir mentioned to kind of close the loop, and thank you for that. Epigenetics is a new field, and what it really says is that many of the genetic tendencies we could be born with from our parents and familial things, many of them can be switched off or switched on through food, through how our emotions are handled. Emotions, stress, and food can turn off or turn on the genes. So in that sense, food is a very powerful tool to even overcome, for the most part, genetically determined challenges one may have. So I think that's something I just wanted to put it out there. And if you want to remember one thing from today, what I'm going to say, happy gut is happy brain. Happy gut is happy brain. So there is something, we know that neurologically, gut has a brain, right? Gut feeling, it's a gut feeling, right? Gut itself has so much nervous system that it's almost like its own brain. And gut communicates with the brain through certain messengers it puts out, right? Chemical messengers. And the gut-brain communication is fundamental in many of the long-term illnesses that you may come across in yourself, your family, your friends. A lot of the common things you would come across, whether it is high blood pressure, diabetes, somebody getting cancer, heart attacks, and so forth, right? So many of them, the gut-brain communication has a role in it. The healthy, friendly bacteria, the army of bacteria that is waiting to help us in the gut, that friendly bacteria is so key for many of the healthy things. I'll just kind of give a concrete example to kind of ground us for this conversation, right? So if a meal has enough fiber in it, maybe the morning breakfast has something whole grain instead of a processed white bread, right? Or something it has, if somebody's eating more salads or vegetables or legumes, beans, lentils. That fiber, when we have good bacteria in the gut, they work together. The good bacteria breaks down the fiber. It releases a particular substance. It has a long name. Short chain fatty acids, butyrates. That butyrate becomes a messenger. Now that messenger, it's like a mail. It's like an email going out from the gut to the brain, right? So that messenger is going to regulate our appetite, regulate our weight, regulate our inflammation, how much inflammation somebody gets, how our immune system is going to be. And it also helps to release dopamine. It also helps to release serotonin. Serotonin is the happy mood hormone, right? So when we have higher serotonin levels maintained, that prevents depression. It keeps the mood happy. So serotonin release is I can control it by the amount of fiber I eat and making sure that fiber is feeding the good bacteria in the gut. That's just one example of how food can influence a particular, in a neurotransmitter molecule like serotonin, right? Antioxidants, colorful fruits and vegetables, anything that has color to it, not M&Ms, colorful fruits and vegetables, and even things like cacao, which is in chocolate, right? So cacao, colorful fruits and vegetables are key in making sure they deal with the wear and tear in the body. That's called oxidative stress, and that's very helpful as well. So that's just keep in mind fiber, key, works with gut bacteria. Colorful fruits and vegetables, antioxidants is key. And then anything we do in food that either reduces inflammation or increases our defense against inflammation, anti-inflammatory, that's helpful. So simple example, 2 tablespoons of flax powder, flax meal in anything you add in the morning or lunch in salads. Flax meal has omega-3 fatty acids. It's high in anti-inflammatory properties. That's just one example. Anything that can increase inflammation, it's okay to have treats, and we all need to have moments of having our treats and breaks. That's okay. But on a very regular basis, adding high sugar stuff, that's going to injure the lining of the gut, which will release inflammation, right? Higher fat foods, that will also injure the lining of the gut. It will increase inflammation. So just it's not about a very militant approach that I'm proposing here. And I usually say in my talks, it's not about going from in a dietary change. It's not about going from A to Z. It's about moving from A and just having small goals and seeing where you're comfortable and getting there, right? So, and paying attention to the body. Body is going to tell you wherever you are. It's going to tell you, yeah, this is good, and this is not good. So we just need to pay attention and keep changing it. I believe those are some of the high-level things I wanted to hit on. Yeah, I think, generally, more fiber-rich foods, colorful fruits and vegetables added, more legumes, beans, because the gut bacteria works well with the beans, and chewing well, paying attention to the food and the appetite, and also having that social connections. That's important as part of the meal itself. And like what you're doing on a Thursday here, that's brilliant. The Thursday evening or whenever you mentioned that happening, where you have meals, you have community coming to her for healing people, and that's just multi-layered level of prescription going on there, which is great. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, there are, Judy's asking about artery health and heart attacks and angina that can happen with individuals. And, now we know that through food, as in a whole food plant-based regimen, which is strict, we can actually reverse blocked arteries in the heart. We know that. That's what she's referring to. So I've worked with patients who have had angina and they've removed it through food, and that's great. It's really about how amazing the body is. Our body comes with all the backup systems it needs to stay healthy. It has everything to stay healthy. We just need to tap into it. So I'll pause there. I thank you for the opportunity, and I'll take questions if there is any questions here. Yes. Yeah, the question is, what do you tell to the patient who comes to you who says, I'm stressed all the time, and that's why I'm eating all the time, like not making the right choices. So it's not one answer for that, right? It's about finding out how can we connect with other providers who can provide the coping skills on the behavioral health aspect of things. But one of the things I would share with that patient is to kind of give them the knowledge that chronic stress, just mentioned, long-term stress, stress happening long-term, it keeps our our own body's steroid hormones at a higher level. It's called corticosteroids. We have our own steroid hormone, which should kick in only like when we need it. But if you're chronically stressed, it's chronically high. And what that steroid hormone does when it's at a higher level all the time, it blunts the effect of foods that are supposed to give pleasure at a certain dose. Let me put it this way. If I'm going to eat a chocolate, right, and normally maybe I eat a square or 2 squares and I feel bliss happening in my brain and my dopamine is hitting big time. But when I'm on a chronic stress level, I need probably 2 bars of chocolate before I can hit that. So the corticosteroid will mess with the ability of foods to hit the dopamine. I'm going to need more and more and more of that. I think just sharing that understanding, just understanding as to why I'm having this kind of a behavior might help. And then working with other providers who can provide the other elements of coping skills and other things might be the way I'll go with that. Yeah. Sure. Yeah. Sure. Thank you very much. Thank you. Appreciate that.
Will you be able to stay with us? Nutrition part was such an important aspect. So in front of us we have distinguished panelists. So thank you, Dr. Kumara. Thank you so much. Miss Tracy Lamperti is here. She was our main speaker last year. Were you here last year? Raise your hand. And let me read her incredible biography. Tracy Lamperti is a seasonal licensed mental health counselor with over 25 years of experience, providing compassionate care and evidence-based treatment to individuals, couples, and families. In addition to being board certified in traumatic stress and certified in dialectical behavior therapy, she is the first and only certified Christian sex therapist in Massachusetts. Woohoo! We need that. Tracy is deeply engaged in her community, collaborating and consulting on complex mental health cases, a contributing member of Cape Cod Moms, and sharing her expertise as a guest on podcasts and radio programs. Thank you so much for being here. Will you be able to share your experience with helping Cape Cod community as a whole? There is a stigma of people being afraid to reach out to professional therapists, and how to perhaps break that stigma that we do need to reach out, we do need to say we need professional help. And when is the point when we need to do that? When is like you need to reach out for professional help? When is that point when we need to say I need to call a professional?
Along the lines of self-care, we have to be aware of our self-care. Like, we have to be aware of how we're feeling at any given time. And if you don't have enough support, you have to be able to recognize that, or listen to your loved ones who are maybe saying you don't have enough support. So there's clearly, like you spoke about earlier, like there's barriers to finding mental health treatment here on the Cape. Last month alone, I'm just a quiet little private practice therapist. I got 21 referrals last month. I was able to take 6. This month I'm up to nearly that amount, and I'm only going to be able to take about 2 because that's what I have openings for. So what I like to tell people is there's always something you can do. You can go to Great Awakenings coffee shop and get a cup of coffee. And if Ina's there, she's going to chat with you or say hello to her. You have to try. You have to try to seek wellness. And there's maybe not always, I mean, maybe that's what causes such desperation, is that somebody can't find somebody. But we have to be the kind of person that recognizes in our brothers and sisters in the world when they're struggling and suffering, and in they, us. And, with all, since COVID and all the move to this digital technology and artificial intelligence, you can live your life without interacting with anyone, basically. We have to obviously fight against that. And I think that's what you're doing so well here. And so many of people here, I'm sure, and the panelists, that we're trying to make real personal connections with people. I think that's really essential.
Okay. So, Dr. Sid, do you have a couple words before you head out?
I just want to thank Ina and Andrew and the panelists for coming together for this, and Judy for getting me in here. And I think the community needs more of these kind of spaces. And what you're doing is incredible, and I'm always there to come support you in this.
Please.
I'm teaching, so I gotta go for that.
I have to say, he's actually not just preaching, he is doing what he's preaching. He is taking a self-care. You do dancing, so it's self-care. So it's like... So, a living example. Let's give a hand to Dr. Sid. Thank you so much. Thank you. So, I know you do serve faith-based community a lot. I have to speak on behalf of working with faith-based community. We do say as a golden rule, love your neighbor as yourself. And we do everything selflessly. We care about everybody. Moms, who is involved in church, give rights and to-do list, meal train, and selflessly serve from morning till night. I'm sure Mr. Steve, as a public servant, from morning till night until you drop, you help. So with that, can you give a couple tips how to manage self-care with people who do selfless service as a military, as a public servant, as a church person, as a nurse, medical service? What are the 3 tips to help this kind of people in our community?
Oh, just for me. Oh, I thought we were all going to answer this. Okay, so 3 tips to help the people who are providing self-care to others. Okay. Well, first you have to have your finger on your own pulse, right? You have to make sure that you have enough energy to do the serving that you're doing for other people. So the first thing is take care of yourself. Make sure we're the first people to burn out, right? First responders, mental health workers, people that are but people who are trying to support the suffering. So keep your own finger on your own pulse. Sorry, the question again. Take care of yourself. Yeah. So I think we have to remember, like Dr. Weir said, is that this self-care isn't automatic. It doesn't happen like breathing. You have to do it intentionally. It is an intentional act. And if you don't identify a plan for yourself, it's probably not going to happen. So we can get caught up in all the helping and serving that we do to other people and forget that we were planning on going for a walk after we had lunch or before we had lunch. So you have to, stay true to what you're asking other people to do. And I think just making sure, everybody's worried now what's happening in the White House. I'm worried what's happening in your house. So we have to minimize our exposure to the things that are freaking us out. And we have to make sure that we can turn that noise and chaos down for long enough to regroup with our own people and make sure that, my marriage is strong, my parenting is strong, my kids are okay. Yeah.
Thank you very much. I needed to hear that. Take care of your house first. Thank you. Now, Jeff Van Tola. Jeff is incredible. First of all, I see him every day, his beautiful smile. And he's incredible community builder on Cape Cod. He is a mixed martial artist, fitness coach, musician in Cape Cod band. What's the name of it? Syndicate. Have you heard of that band? Yeah. Jeff is a owner of Hyenas Mixed Martial Arts, where he's loved for the community he builds in class and individual coaching in boxing, kickboxing, Muay Thai, and Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Did I say it right? share your experience about mental health and how the sports movement element is important in self-care and mental health.
Okay, so I'm not much of a public speaker, but I'll give you a quick example. Thank you. I had a mother call up, and she had a son that was 14 years old, and they had a divorce, and the son was getting into a lot of trouble. So I said, send him over. So he came in, we got him boxing, and anyone here ever hit a bag before, a punching bag, anybody? It's a great feeling, isn't it? It's a great feeling. That's right. So the minute, it's a reaction I always see on someone. It doesn't matter who. It could be a police officer, a firefighter, and when he hit the bag, he had that. It was a look, and I knew it registered. So I mean, he would be there early, pounding on the bags. I'm like, wow, this kid's really taken to it. His father was an alcoholic. He ended up passing away, and this kid, a year later, he had to transfer to a new school. Because of the community at our gym, and we have a great community. Like Dr. Weir, when I saw the wheel, I was like, wow, it looks like my gym. It really does, because there's so many personalities, and you have nurses, doctors, police, people to look up to, people that you can talk to. I mean, I've been down and out. I've gone over someone's house before and really poured it out. Like, so people are there for you. So a kid, there's a lot of people for him to look up to in the gym. Long story short, 2 years later, he was on the football team. This was a while ago. He's already graduated UNH, and he's just turned his whole life around. And this kid was really heading to bed. And we deal with this all the time. This goes on. I mean, I got a group over there from the gym. How often do we see this at the gym? My mother's here. She's 87 years old. She's still boxing. Yeah, and 87. We call her the Hurricane because she's a ball of energy. But seriously, when you start hitting a bag and you start getting into fitness, it makes you eat better, you sleep better, you hang out with better people. It's a great community, so that's what we do. And if anyone wants to hit a bag, feel free to come on down, and you'll feel it. It's a great community. So
thank you so much for all that you do. Thank you so much. So we've heard nutrition aspect, we've heard physical aspect of mental health, we've heard personal therapy, a self-care aspect, and now we're going to Amanda Braga-Tipton. Let me read your incredible biography. First of all, she's my friend. I love her so much. She's an amazing person. Massachusetts native from 3 generations of military service members. In 2018, she decided to join the, not USSR, it's USAR. I need to make sure I pronounce this correct, as a chaplain. Thank you for your service. In the past 10 years, she has served on the board of directors of 7 paramilitary support groups located on Cape Cod. Wow. She graduated from Liberty University with Masters of Divinity in 2019. And she served as hospice chaplain in the civilian sector. On July 5th, 2023, Amanda joined the horrific ranks of being a White Star family member when her brother, Surgeon Joshua Alvin Tipton, U.S. Army, took his life. Where's this picture? Oh, on the picture with Amanda on the back. Let's take a moment of silence. Thank you. Amanda is determined to ensure that those who raise their hands to protect and defend find themselves winning the war they tell no one about, and is a member of the Massachusetts Veterans Reintegration Advisory Committee in State House, which I ran into last Wednesday. It was a beautiful service. Thank you so much. Amanda, can you please share your story? And you brought something with us that we can take home. So please take it away.
All right, I've got to time this because I was formerly a preacher, and how many times do we say in closing, and it keeps going? So I just want to honor that. In 2012, I moved back to Cape Cod. Prior to that, I served as a missionary overseas and then was in California. I did the married thing. I did the divorce thing. And at that time, we had been on staff at a church and then opened up a church. And so when I moved in 2012 back to Cape Cod, I found myself surrounded with veterans who we would just begin talking. And it was, sorry for the graphic expression here, but it was like they were throwing their life up on me and just felt very safe and comfortable and would share things with me that they had never told anyone else before. And so I thought, like, why don't I just get paid for this, And so that started a little bit more of my journey into becoming a chaplain in the United States Army Reserves. And coming from a military family, the dysfunction was very comfortable, let me put it that way, and very familiar. And so it really, the driving force, other than the fact that I'm a believer in Jesus Christ, and I believe that Holy Spirit loves to talk and loves to lead us and guide us into all truth. And so I felt like it was an actual calling. But one of the things that was a driving force behind that was the fact that in different venues that I would be in and talking with veterans and active was this number that I kept hearing, and the number at the time was 22. And 22 veterans a day were dying by suicide. And my brain was like, what? We're in America, y'all. That can't happen, but it was happening. And so I joined as a chaplain, and in the service would teach suicide prevention. I did multiple trainings, multiple certificates. And my brother simultaneously, that's why we're both in our OCP fatigues right there. He was serving in a combat arms unit. And he, I like to say, made things go boom. He drove tanks. So he really did make things go boom, and he loved it. And let's see, he ended up getting out of active duty, went into a reserve component, and then my brother, who there was 10 years and 10 months differentiation between us. So there was, my dad says, you were like his second mother. He couldn't get away with anything, like anything, I promise. And so we were best friends, and we had actually a promise to one another that if we ever got to that point in our emotional state, that we would go to one another. We were each other's ultimate battle buddies, right? And he ended up moving, bought a home in Warwick, Rhode Island. He has a beautiful daughter. My niece Iris is now 12. All the signs, they're signs, as our professional doctor here can share, that are typical with suicide, he didn't have. And so that made it even more challenging. And it's, so if you're a cardiologist and your wife dies of a heart attack, or you're an oncologist and your child dies of cancer, it threw me for a huge loop, because both my brother and I were suicide prevention advocates. And in the military, it was like my main course to help bring coping, and actually nutrition was a big part of it for the soldiers, how our nutrition impacts our mental and emotional state. And so it's like, what? This can't be real. This isn't real. All the stages of grief that I'm still going through 19 months later. So that's part of this. I guess Josh's story became my story. And if I can brag on my brother a little. In August 7th, in Lexington, Massachusetts, Governor Healy signed a monumental bill called the HERO Act. And about 7 months prior, I had been invited to be on the committee, and I was able to share my brother's story to those who were in legislation, and prior to that, to those on the committee from all different spheres throughout the Commonwealth. And then on August 7th, I was invited to be the speaker. And I was able to share Josh's story. And right before she signed that law, in front of all the news stations, she said, "This is for Josh, and this is for Nick." So, for me, I know I'm kind of bouncing all over the place, but as a woman of faith, that which is most precious to you is suddenly gone. That which you entrusted to the Lord was no longer. I prayed for my brother every day, even from when he was in my mother's womb. And as a little kid, he'd be in the crib at night, and I'd go pray over him. In my faith background, we lay hands and we pray. And I would pray that whatever anointing was on my life would be double in his life. And I sat there at my mother's house after I just pulled up and given her the news that was going to change the trajectory of her life, or at that moment had. And I remember trying to really take a photographic picture when I pulled up and I saw her outside and she was waving and smiling. And I remember just trying to hold that because I knew she was going to be crushed. And so told her, and I saw a grown woman fall to her knees. And I had to turn because, God, where are you right now? And also in my faith background, I believe that the blind can see, the deaf can hear, the lame can walk, and that the dead are even raised. And so I said, God, please just let me go and pray for resurrection. And I felt like he whispered, and I'm not going to go into Picasso. So I do feel like God speaks to me at times, and I felt like he said, not this one. And I turned back and I looked at my mother and I looked at my father, and I said, okay, Lord, then I really need to see some form of redemption from this. I have to, God. I have to see the goodness of the Lord in the land of the living through this situation, because right now, this looks like the enemy of my soul and of Josh's soul won. And it felt like that. It didn't just look, it felt. And so, to be able to hear the governor of Massachusetts, the highest authority in the political realm, say just before she signed a bill to be enacted that this was for Josh. Wow, God, you like to redeem things. And you do it really well, because one of your names is Redeemer. You just haven't redeemed my soul, but you can redeem my past, and you can redeem everything that's broken. And what looks like it's dead, you can still resurrect it. So I didn't get a resurrection of my brother, but I got a resurrection of now, because I'm here in these platforms and in other areas, people get to hear about Josh, who in the natural looks like he didn't win his war, but in reality, he's in a place right now where there's no more mental anguish. There's no more hopelessness. He's in a place where hope is forever shining. And I've had others come to me and say, Amanda, I heard about Josh, and I took the pistol out of my mouth. Last night, I got a text message. I've had the privilege of beginning a foundation in honor of my brother. In the back of the shirt say, I hope you win the war you tell no one about. And one of our board members is out with another organization serving communities that have been devastated still by the hurricanes that happened in October. And this particular organization, they deploy vets and LEO and first responders Most of them are retired. And he said that this one man who we had given one of Josh's boots shirts to, they're sleeping on cots. He put a chair next to the cot and he put one of the shirts so that all of the vets that were walking by would see what it said. And I was blown away. He said, they've begun to sit down in the chair and open up to each other. Things that they've never shared. And some of these men are Vietnam veterans opening up because they read something on a shirt. And healing comes through community. So I know I just kind of went like all over the place, but that is part of the story, is because it's all over the place with a goal that others would be saved, that others would live. And honestly, I think all of us that are in this room, we have a mandate that's similar, and it can look completely different than what I'm doing. It better look completely different because each one of us are in different sectors and spheres of society. But that wherever we go, we who have breath are able to impart breath to those and to teach them who feel like they're being suffocated and strangled. So,
Wow, thank you so much. Wonderful. Is Dr. Galipos here? Or he left? Oh, he left. Okay, just left? Okay. I wanted to mention him. He was present here. As we wrap up, I would like to open this audience to questions. To an incredible speaker, main speaker. Can we give a hand to a wonderful speaker? Yeah. So if you have a question regarding mental health or topic, is self-care selfish? I chose this topic because for me, I always ask this question, is taking a break, going for a walk, or taking longer day to rest, is it always feel guilt, like if I rest more, and I don't know who can relate to me. So to me, it was extremely helpful tonight. I hope do you feel the same? It was therapeutical actually, in all aspects, nutrition, sports, personal therapy. I just felt like I went to church. I feel spiritually like encouraged. Thank you. And professionally too. That was so helpful in so many levels. Can we give a hand to a wonderful panelist? Yeah. With Dr. Sidhartha, I think we have to have separate topic on nutrition. Happy gut, happy, how did he say it? Happy brain, yes. So would you like to ask a question, or anyone? There's April, come up front here. Can we give a hand to April? She's incredible. She's such a blessing.
Hi, thank you guys so much for sharing all that and sharing your stories. And I learned so much and I really appreciate it. And my question is if you have any information on EMDR therapy, the rapid eye movement therapy. I'm interested about it. I don't know much about it and I'm curious about it.
To Miss Dr. Maura.
Yeah. I'm not trained. Are you trained in EMDR? Okay, I'm not trained in EMDR. That is something I've never chosen to do, but I can give you some information just from what clients share with me, and other professional therapists that I'm colleagues with share with me, is that a lot of people do get a benefit. It's that it's where things get kind of stuck in the brain and certain memories get stuck in the brain. I'm talking way out of my league here, but because I'm not trained in it. But the changing of the moving of the eyes changes and you work with that with the memories and with the process that you're trying to solve or get through, and it kind of shakes things up in the brain and reorganizes things in a way that are not so impactful to your emotions. That is in a very general.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. I just want to say before everyone goes is thank you so much. That was really great. I also forgot to mention that I'm the chair of the Cape and Islands Suicide Prevention Coalition in my spare time. And next week on March 5th, we're having suicides and veterans at the college. So if anybody would like to come over to the college on Wednesday, it's between 11 and 1. And we're having a lunch and learn type of thing. And it's veterans and suicide prevention. So the other thing is the Cape and Islands Suicide Prevention Coalition partnered with the college to offer suicide prevention trainings all over the Cape and Islands, and that's how we're training the 10,000 people. So we have one on Tuesday as well called Safe Talk. It's 4 hours, and it's at the college. So if anybody wanted to come do that as well, we offer them about once a month, and they're always full. People just want to learn more.
Available for those who are perhaps involved in nonprofit sector to come? Is it pay? Do you have to pay for this class? Okay. April wants to go, right? To attend. Okay. Talk to her. Any other questions from the audience regarding mental health? We covered it all. Come over here. Introduce yourself. There's we video recording, so you would have to speak into the mic. Can you please be brief? So don't be offended if I take your microphone. Okay.
It's nice to meet you in person.
Turn to the camera too.
Okay. Oh, okay. All right.
Be quick. Introduce yourself.
Okay, my name is Nancy Winstanley. And when I was 16 and a half, I had a fever, and someone was supposed to come, and they didn't make it. And when I finally came to, I had a nervous breakdown from it. 3 factors came together, the doctor said, so that's why I had a nervous breakdown. So a mind that worked perfectly fine before that, no depression, no anxiety, anything like that. All my fears came to my subconscious mind. I suffered for like 17 and a half years. And but at the age of 33, the same age as Jesus, I learned about Christian healing. And so I was able to get the Lord brought someone in my heart, in my life, to teach me about that. And my scripture was, by his stripes you are healed, or by his wounds you are healed. And within, I would say, a year and a half, for the first time in my life, I had total peace in my mind. And I want to know more about, can I turn or not? Yeah. Okay. I want to know more about things for serotonin, to help your serotonin other than drugs, because I've been learning that doctors are normally trained to just give you some type of a psychiatric drug. And like you said, with food and different things and nutrition, that can really help you with your serotonin level. And also your thyroid does affect and can your serotonin level.
I would say exercise, absolutely, with serotonin. If you want to come into the gym for free, try hitting a bag. I welcome you to come in. I'm right back here, right near Charlie's Music, and I'll give you a month for free if you want to come hit the bags. And I'm telling you, you will feel better, no question about it. Justine's husband's in hospice, so she's going through a lot. And the boxing is really getting her through it, and the community we have, and everything. It's been a rough 8 years, but she's at the gym, she's hitting the bags, she's training, and it is a savior, so.
The self-care as well will balance the hormones, will help to balance the hormones. And I talked a lot about hormones actually last year when I was here, and the video is on the Facebook page. So you could get some information about the hormones on there.
Just, yeah, aerobic exercise is actually better than any medication you can use. So I second that. And also, just to increase the endorphins, you can use, some food does that as well, like the other doctor said. And I'm going to give you the secret: chocolate. Chocolate. Dark. Milk chocolate works as well, just so you know. But it boosts your serotonin and your endorphins. And I think when you release the adrenaline, especially from the aerobic exercise, that helps increase your serotonin and dopamine. And so that's really good for that as well.
One other thing as well, with balancing hormones, look at any environmental factors. Things that have artificial scents are really huge endocrine disruptors. So you can go throughout your home, cleaning supplies, laundry, even sometimes our furniture is off gassing and it impacts our endocrine system.
I'm just going to do one more plug. The DA was here, the district attorney. What's his name? Gallivo? Yeah. Rob. They just received a grant for $180,000 for suicide prevention and mental health on the Cape. So they'll be offering the free trainings as well. But he was a big component of that for the Cape and Islands region. He had to go to another event, but yeah, I'm involved with that. So we're going to do the trainings through the college and stuff.
Yeah, okay, thank you so much. Any other questions before we wrap up? Or comments?
Hi. So, for those of us who are neurodivergent, so people who are ADHD, dyslexic, autistic, anywhere on that kind of spectrum, like I know mental health, at least for me, is always a little bit of a challenge. But for those of us that going through a list and keeping to a schedule is really hard, what would you, like in general, recommend for those of us who are neurodivergent that struggle with sticking to, like finding a schedule and then sticking to it?
I feel like it's the social worker again.
Start slow, like once a week. Start easy. Don't overwhelm yourself with a big schedule. If you're going to work out on a Monday, just make sure every Monday you're getting there. And start with that, and then you can add from there. That's what I would recommend. And believe me, I know the ADHD. You know what I mean? The brain never shuts off, so I get that. I'm always overwhelmed with a lot of things to do, and I would start slow, though. That's what I'd recommend. Don't get too involved in too much, and that's a good way to get that going.
A buddy. Get a buddy to work with you and hold each other accountable and make it, yeah.
I was just going to say that something is better than nothing. So if you're able to pick one and just do that, that's one thing more than what you were doing already. And then sometimes we can find ourselves getting in a rhythm and habit because the neural pathways begin changing, right? So just start with the one.
And the mindfulness is really important for that, if you can do that. But I learned to take one day at a time, like one moment at a time, because I have a lot of things going on in the brain, and I make myself like a little bit untouched, you know what I mean? So I think if we're mindful about what we're doing, when we're doing it, and how we're doing it, then it's good. And Pilates, yoga, meditation, sometimes guided imagery works really well if we can actually give ourselves the time to do it.
I want to add breathing to it. April recently talked about it at our Pathways to Healing, how important to learn to breathe and breathe deeply. Not just like, but actually learn how to breathe properly. That's very important. Do you agree with that? Any other question? It's last question in the audience. Come over here. Yesenia.
So this kind of goes hand in hand with her question, but perhaps in a different point of view. For parents who have children with autism, for somebody who might be in a high stress constantly caregiving and not knowing how to cope with that. What could be some practical tips for a parent?
Caregiver self-care, right? Yeah, we kind of touched on that.
Caregiver self-care? Yeah, I mean, keeping the home environment really steady, consistent, keeping the electronics to a minimum, all the regular self-care that we all are forgetting to do because we have our phones in our hands, in our pocket. They're just like distracting us all the time. And the kids, I know with neurodivergence in kids, it's used as a treatment tool, and so they are using these devices, and it's a helpful thing on some level, but you have to use it for the tool that it's meant to be in those cases and not let it get out of control, because neurodivergent kids have a really hard time dialing that back. So just a lot of calm in the house. The calmer the house is, the calmer the parent is. And you know, reaching out for support. We have really good ABA therapy now for kids with autism. And if you follow like Bright Steps Behavior, here I'm giving Bright Steps Behavior a plug here. But if you follow them on like Instagram, they do things with kids that are unbelievable that I never would have thought of. Different kind of tactile things, and that, you know, they are giving testimonies on their site. I haven't followed them in a while, but where kids are for the first time saying things like, "I love you, Mom," and they didn't even speak before. So there's some really beautiful things going on in the autism neurodivergent field that, you know, follow it and you'll hear a lot of great things.
Not particularly, but as the pilot started off, you have to put your own oxygen mask on first before you can help your children. And I know that's hard as a mom, and we put ourselves to exhaustion sometimes. I would also say respite is really good. 20 minutes away from a situation is a great relief to go back to it with a level head. And so if you could find that, maybe it's in the shower, the extra 10 minutes I do in the shower before he starts banging on the door, that might be helpful.
I would like to give a word to Miss Judy. She was instrumental to putting this together and inviting our incredible main speaker. Wasn't it amazing? I've learned so much. Thank you so much, Judy Barrigas. By the way, her son is my favorite actor. His name is Yoshi. Who watched The Chosen? Okay, he's my favorite actor. He plays Philip. He played, but he's my forever Philip. He's the best. So that's how I met her, because she's a mom of this incredible actor. So Judy, thank you so much for helping with organizing this. Please.
Thank you. It was my pleasure. And thank you, Ina and Andrew, for all the work you do for the community. I know how hard that technical stuff is. So I just want to say again that thank you all. Just amazing. The self-care piece is really important. My brother and I were 10 years apart 20 years ago when he took his life. And I didn't have the tools and resources then. So don't go to a doctor and get Lexapro or any of those mind-altering drugs. Do these things that these people are telling you to do, because it never goes away, does it?
Thank you. My friends, I will actually ask for help. To put these events together takes a lot of resources. So if you feel compelled, I don't want to manipulate emotionally, but just know that we need help, support, financial support. The website is changingtheworldtv.org, changingtheworldtv.org. If you feel compelled that we need to continue conversations like this, causes like this, please feel free to help us by supporting us, by showing up, by donating. Just if you'd like to be a partner with us, just $5 a month makes a huge difference. April makes meal almost every week. It takes a lot of resources to pay rent, electricity. Sometimes people don't realize the little details that goes into that. So I'm doing self-care right now and asking, please help us. If you want to be a volunteer, you're welcome to join our team. Let's change the world together. Amen? Let's do it. Yes. Amanda has her incredible hoodies. Can you share about them and people? Yeah.
So I don't have the hoodies. I have some long sleeve shirts and t-shirts. You can have a hoodie on another day. So, okay, yeah. Oh, these are the new ones. These are kind of cool. These came in this week. It says "A dark world needs your light." And they're $20. Everything goes right back into Josh's Boots Foundation. If I can do a really quick 20-second plug on Josh's Boots. So currently we have a scholarship for Falmouth High student, because from Falmouth. That's for $1,000. That's being awarded. I actually just got the essays this week. Really hard to pick someone. Number 2 is we do something called grief groceries. It was so impactful for me during the first couple of weeks to receive a meal train. And actually, it was Representative Exaris's fiance, Denise, who set that up. And I remember getting like text messages, "You're going to get a meal train." And I was like, food? What's food? However, when the meals started coming, I realized that I was so not in a wonderful place that I wasn't even going to have mental capacity to go shopping, to cook, to anything. And so to have the meals delivered was so impactful. I remember standing there one day, Kat Wilson had brought plasticware, and I thought, I have silverware. But when I was eating with it and I could throw it away, the weight of not having the responsibility of washing dishes, wow. So we do grief groceries. Number 3 is we are connecting with another organization, which I'm not going to name at this moment. However, but they were doing what I was sharing before. They deploy veterans and first responders into these regions to help them help other people, which is also is a huge component to healing too, is when you see other people who are worse off than you, which there's a spiritual principle to that. And then the 4th one, which is really, 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 really huge, and so in like just conceiving this, I would love to have a home called Josh's Place, where the children and the family left behind of those who die by suicide, not just in the military. I've actually extended it to firefighters, police officers, correctional officers, and paramedics, because over the past few months, I've come to learn of their horrible stats. So where these families can come for 3 or 4 days, have some respite, and just be kids. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I feel like it's a perfect time to end. It's 8 p.m. and your Portuguese pastries are here from Portuguese Mom. Some coffee, decaf and caffeinated. You're welcome to stay. We have incredible resources from all the wonderful panelists. And also we have some resources from, could you mention your practice and you brought some resources? Okay, but next time. And our next event is March 31st, last day of March, which is Monday night. We will speak on Confident Beauty. Katrina Walsh is our main speaker, and then we'll have panelists as well. So ladies, don't miss that event. Let's do some self-care. So March 31st, and another event that I would like to point out, it's like a day of unity. Thank you, Mr. Steve Exaris, for supporting it. It's National Day of Prayer every first Thursday of May, which is May 1st this year. Our whole nation comes together in a moment of prayer, and prayer changes the world. Prayer is a powerful tool. So we come together as a community from different backgrounds, belief system, together as one. So please come. It will be at 5:30 p.m. at Village Green Hyenas. And I know possibly it will be maybe at Yarmouth Police Station in the morning, and in the afternoon it will be at Cape Cod Community College. But you come to the one at 5:30 p.m. at Village Green. We'll see you. So thank you so much for your attention and for being here. Thank you so much. Can you say to your neighbor, you're the best? You're the best. Turn to your neighbor, say, you're the best. You're awesome. Thank you so much. God bless you all.